Every time I'm on the pitch, I always want to leave my mark. It was absolutely amazing. It was just amazing. I had to seize the opportunity to mark that period of time for Africans to be viewed in a different light tomorrow. If one does not have this sort of ambition, there is no point in playing football.
On the 8th of June 1990, Cameroon faced World Cup holders Argentina in the opening match of Italia 90.
How many African players could anybody name before the 1990 World Cup? The answer would be not very many. I'll never forget that day, that game. Everybody, absolutely everybody, wanted Cameroon to win. It was a huge shock and it was just fantastic.
After beating Argentina, Cameroon's fairy tale time in Italy would end in the quarter-finals. Yet their performances had already propelled the African game to a whole new level.
Cameroonians would have realised for the first time ever that, wow, I can be a star in the World Cup. I can be a star at a global level.
Suddenly, Europe's top sides were scouring the African continent for the latest talent. And in 1997, Spanish giants Real Madrid decided to bring Cameroon's hottest young talent to the Bernabeu, a 16-year-old striker by the name of Samuel Eto'o.
I remember my first day in Madrid. It was a bit hard because I'd missed my connecting flight in Paris. I therefore arrived very late in Madrid and the weather was really cold. I was only wearing shorts, but it would be a wonderful adventure.
His first World Cup finals in 1998, aged 17, was soon followed by his first trophy, as Cameroon beat Nigeria on penalties in the 2000 African Cup of Nations final.
I could not have dreamt of anything better than being lucky enough to contribute to that victory. There's just nothing better. One cannot dream of anything better. I showed all my talent. We did not win this African Nations thanks to Rigobert Song. No way. We won the trophy thanks to Samuel Eto'o.
He won the African Nations and he won the Olympics in the same year. Looking back, I think you take it all as one. That was a huge year for him.
But back at club level, things turned sour. 3 loan spells away from the Bernabeu failed to convince Real the teenager was capable of becoming one of the best strikers in the world.
At Real Madrid it didn't work out because perhaps he was too early for him. Again, he went in thinking, right, my chance to just be the top guy here, and he couldn't be.
Yet Eto'o remained convinced that he was destined for greatness.
In 1998, he was telling me that he was better than Raúl, better than all the other Real Madrid strikers. He was totally convinced about that.
He's been thinking about being the best, getting better, and that there would be nobody better than him since a very young age.
Eto'o is a temperamental character, but when he sets his mind to something, he achieves it.
Real Mallorca believed in Eto'o, and after an initial loan move, decided to pay a club record £4.4 million to secure the striker's services in 2000. And Eto'o was soon proving his doubters wrong, scoring 19 goals in 36 matches in the 02-03 campaign.
That desire for revenge, that desire to show who he was, to be someone in the football world, and that his name would remain in football history, that was motivating Samuel.
He had to just then go to Mallorca, scored against Real Madrid, and keep scoring and scoring and scoring, and helping Mallorca to reach the highest levels they ever reached.
That season guaranteed Eto'o legendary status at Mallorca, as he almost single-handedly guided the club to their first ever Copa del Rey title, which included 2 goals in the 3-0 win over Recreativo in the final.
De la victoire finale, nous étions heureux, mais surtout cet événement.
I remember the victory. We were really happy. But this event was actually hiding the pain I had, as the day before I lost one of my brothers, a great figure of Cameroonian football, Marc-Vivien Foé. But I had my job to do, and I did it. And I hope that with my input on the day, I managed to pay tribute to this great man.
Avec mon rendement de ce jour, j'ai pu rendre hommage à ce grand homme.
By 22, he'd also won his second African Nations and be crowned the African Player of the Year. Then, Spanish giants Barcelona came calling.
Aquest fitxatge va ser tota una història, perquè aquest fitxatge...
That deal was a real saga. Eto'o's rights were owned 50-50 by Mallorca and Real Madrid at the time. I sent a written offer of €23 million, and then we went off to China for a 9-day tour. We came back from China, and Florentino Perez called me and said, "We're not going to exercise our option."
The decision not to take Eto'o back by Real Madrid's president would turn out to be a big mistake.
He was the goal scorer that Barcelona hadn't had for a while.
I'd single out 2 things. His intensity. He was very intense from the first minute until the last. He wouldn't stop running and chasing the ball. The second would be his ability to get in behind, because it meant our midfielders could play through balls and he'd be through on goal to score. That was one of his secrets.
It's a privilege for a midfielder to play alongside a striker like him. I think that he's played a key role in Barca's success.
I always want to leave my mark as the best player in the game. If you don't have this sort of ambition, there's no point in playing football.
Eto'o's impact was emphatic. He'd helped himself to 25 league goals in his debut season at the Camp Nou, which included the equaliser at Levante, to secure Barca's first league title in 6 years.
It was a special moment because I won my first La Liga title as a starter, and for which club? Barcelona. I knew I'd be scoring goals, many goals, because I was surrounded by the best.
And it was his partnership with Ronaldinho in particular that contributed to an amazing first season in Catalonia.
On the pitch, when it clicked, it was just wonderful.
It was amazing. We complemented each other's game. One of us liked to pass and the other liked to score. So playing together was very easy.
On the pitch, they really made a difference because one could lose his marker like nobody else, and the other was a unique passer of the ball.
For 5 years they did not win the league, for 5 years they seem to have lost the way. They didn't get to the next stage until, of course, with Ronaldinho, with Eto'o, you had a team that actually had enough quality to beat anybody else.
Barca's talent in attack was the envy of every club in world football. In 2005, Eto'o was named the third best player in the world by FIFA. His partner in crime, Ronaldinho, would be crowned the best. But there was more to come from Eto'o. The following season, he finished the league's top goal scorer of 26 goals, as he picked up yet another La Liga winners' medal.
I scored many goals and helped my club win the league, but I had a sense of unfinished business because we missed out in the Champions League.
We built up momentum, having won the league title in 2005 and retaining it in 2006. The missing piece after that was winning the Champions League.
Barcelona would gain an early advantage as Arsenal's goalkeeper Jens Lehmann was sent off after just 18 minutes. Yet that didn't stop Frank Rijkaard's men falling behind. And with less than 15 minutes to play, the Spanish side looked like missing.
There are some players who always turn up on big occasions, and Eto'o was one of them.
Iniesta had the ball. I asked for it as I was unmarked. I made several signs and he clipped a sublime pass to me. I hit the ball just underneath the goalkeeper's feet. Like most goalkeepers, he jumped, like handball goalkeepers when one is close to them.
There was never a moment where we lost our heads. We were all calm and we knew there was time.
For all the Barca fans,
suddenly you take the advantage in the match. It was amazing. We could slowly see out when Belletti was lying down on the ground.
it felt like, for once, history was on our side and justice was done.
By now, Eto'o was unstoppable. He ended the 05-06 season with 34 goals and the Best Forward award by UEFA.
He was always on the hunt for goals. On top of that, he was the first line of defence. That was another of his strengths. I don't think we've ever had a better presser than Eto'o.
He pushed aside, both in terms of demanding more of everybody, but also of delivering. He did it every single year.
Put simply, the European champions were a far better side with the Cameroonian in it. So it was no surprise that 2 trophyless seasons at the Camp Nou coincided with the 25-year-old spending most of the time on the sidelines with a knee injury. Then in the summer of 2008, Eto'o's future at the Catalan club was suddenly in doubt, as Rijkaard was replaced in the dugout by the club's B coach Pep Guardiola.
Pep wanted to give the team to Messi, so that meant that Samu had to move to a wing, didn't like that. He showed his disgust at being placed somewhere else, not as a number 9, and even telling his coaches, I'm a number 9. You were never a number 9, and that's true of Rijkaard and Guardiola. So you've got no idea what you're doing by moving me away. I'm the best number 9. You need that attitude, but also it's difficult to manage.
Just like Ronaldinho wanted Eto'o in his team, so did Leo. He knew that he was capable of extraordinary pieces of play and of scoring a hatful of goals. But if he had Eto'o on the flank, he would score many more and the attack would function much better.
In the end, Guardiola decided to keep Eto'o. Out went Ronaldinho and Deco, while Xavi, Andres Iniesta and Messi were given a more prominent role in the side, as Barca became peerless at an alarming rate. First, they'd win back their La Liga crown after a stunning season which saw 105 goals and a memorable 6-2 thumping over the reigning champions Real Madrid at the Bernabeu. Then came a record 25th Copa del Rey title, before a chance to create history and become the first Spanish side to win the treble.
That final, it was actually billed as Manchester United are going to get the cup. It was going to play and win, obviously. And also it was like the Ronaldo-Messi competition, a Ronaldo that had just won the Ballon d'Or and a Messi that was coming through the ranks. He's still not the best player in the world, but close to it.
But while all eyes were on strikers from Portugal and Argentina, it was the one from Africa who once again provided the sucker punch.
When games were deadlocked and it seemed like there was no way through, Eto'o would invariably get a goal.
The goal was extraordinary. It was absolutely extraordinary goal. The pass was well executed, and then I controlled the ball, pretended to hit the ball, and then sidestepped. Before the goalkeeper even had time to realise what was happening, I hit it.
He was always there at the very important moments in the big games when we needed him.
In big games, he was there. He was there before the games, he was there in the changing room, telling everybody, let's go for this, a winner, a winner.
Barca never looked back from that moment on, with Messi adding his second after Alex Ferguson's men. That 2-0 win in Rome ended a memorable season Eto'o never expected to start.
It was fitting that Eto'o stayed and featured in that team that did so excellent, better than ever. A team that made history. That set a record that may be matched, but will probably never be surpassed.
Yet helping the Catalan side win their first ever treble did little to help mend the relationship between Guardiola and Eto'o. And so, after 5 years, 6 major titles and over 100 goals, the striker's time at the Camp Nou was up.
It was not my decision to leave. The year before, there had been too many problems, which still had not been resolved. That is why it was best to leave at that time.
Eto'o swapped Barcelona for Inter Milan in 2009, with Zlatan Ibrahimovic going in the opposite direction. For manager Jose Mourinho, it was the Italian side who came out with the better deal.
Mourinho liked telling me, you are my most important player. You are the greatest, and the greatest must always make some sacrifices.
Mourinho came up with one of his greatest achievements, but credit has to go to Eto'o as well. He said, all right, I need you to play on the wing, and I need you to go out there, and I need you, because I'm still Mourinho, I need my wingers to be defensive wingers, basically. I need you to run off the ball. I need you to run yourself on the ground like you've never run before. If you can do this, you will be rewarded.
Then in April 2010, he'd face his former club in the semi-finals of the Champions League.
Inter won the first leg 3-1. Milito scored a goal which may or may not have been offside. Good managers rarely let 2-goal leads slip, and Mourinho is a good manager.
I remember saying to the Inter president Massimo Moratti, give me 2 years and we will win the Champions League. I thought at that time we had a great team for this first year, but when you're confronted with Barcelona, you must be a bit realistic.
The task was made even harder, as the visitors had Thiago Motta sent off with less than half an hour played.
Everything is possible in sport, even when confronted with someone stronger. But when confronted with Barcelona, you can't help but think that we needed to be very lucky on the day and that they needed to be very unlucky.
For 84 minutes, thanks to some resolute defending and a touch of luck, Inter frustrated the likes of Messi and Zlatan Ibrahimovic. But then Gerard Piqué eventually broke the deadlock to set up a tense finale.
It was the most long-suffering game of my career. It was never-ending. What we played for was very important because it was getting a place in the final.
That Barcelona team was so good that if they were to replay that game a million times, maybe Barcelona would score that second goal. But the fact is they didn't, because Inter's veterans, from Zanetti to Samuel Eto'o to Esteban Cambiaso to Walter Samuel, they made it so difficult.
Guardiola's side failed to add to their 1-0 lead. As defeats go, this was bittersweet for Mourinho's men and Eto'o, as the Italian side were now in their first European Cup final since 1972, thanks to a 3-2 aggregate scoreline.
For me, it was a great performance by our entire defence. And apart from the World Cup final, it was one of the most high-pressured games I've ever played in.
Mourinho played the percentages brilliantly. I think he's right when he says it's one of his masterpieces.
May 2010 would go down in history at Inter. The month would begin with a 6th Coppa Italia, followed by a successful defence of their Serie A crown. And by the end, Bayern Munich 2-0 at the Bernabeu.
Inter waited more than 40 years for this moment, to get to a Champions League final. And to see the happiness of our fans in those 2 moments, when Diego Milito scored twice, was to crown a fantastic season. Personally, to raise that cup as captain was one of the best moments of my career.
In the end, we won in our first year and we were all on cloud 9, especially thanks to our semi-final victory, which was amazing.
Eto'o followed consecutive trebles with 2 different clubs by captaining Cameroon at the 2010 World Cup finals in South Africa. And if that wasn't enough, he'd win his 4th African Player of the Year award.
C'est comme le Ballon d'Or européen.
It's just like the Ballon d'Or in Europe. African players have little opportunity to win the Ballon d'Or. Therefore, to us, it is the most important individual prize. It was important to win it, but I prefer collective trophies than the individual ones.
After winning his 2nd Coppa Italia in 2011, Eto'o would depart Inter, having won 5 trophies in 2 seasons, as spells in Russia, England and Turkey followed. Then in 2014, after 17 years, Cameroon's all-time leading goalscorer retired from international football at the age of 33.
Africa has produced many footballers of the highest level, and they deserve respect, but Samuel has won the lot. He's been a top goal scorer, he's won titles in Africa, the Olympic gold, the Champions League, he's won everything.
From watching Cameroon shock the world in 1990 as a young boy, to winning 15 major honours, including 3 Champions Leagues and 2 trebles, there's no doubt that Samuel Eto'o is one of football's greatest.
Eto'o came to Barca and became one of the best strikers in Barca history. In my opinion, he's right up there with the best, with Romario and Ronaldo.
The crucial goals that he scored took him above many other strikers in terms of importance.
He's a player that didn't only score, but helped the team a lot. His generosity was contagious to all of his teammates.
He's one of the best strikers in the world in every sense. That's it.
When I look back and see everything I managed to accomplish, I'm more than happy because I broke many records. Bearing in mind where I come from, I can only think that it is almost a miracle because we do not have many opportunities, but I managed to create them and seize them.
Una vegada per totes.